All right, guys, we are back with graphing, and now that you know our little secret with Desmos, I'm going to show you how to graph these things called linear inequalities using Desmos. So these are your linear inequalities that you're going to see today. They are going to end up being lines, and then you're going to see some pretty cool shading. If we were all full face-to-face, this is where I would bust out some colored pencils, and it actually is pretty easy to do by hand. But because we are not all face-to-face, this is where we're at. So today, you're not actually going to have to graph these by hand. You're welcome. You are going to have to match up which graph goes with which linear inequality. So a couple of things that we need to take note on, and since I'm using this method of notes, I don't have any way to type this out or write this out, so you may want to pause here in a second and get this written down for yourself to know. So there's a couple of different types of inequalities that you're going to see. You're going to see this less than or equal to, or you're going to see a greater than or equal to. That is going to be a solid line. So if it has the equal to, that's going to be a solid line, kind of like this one, how it's solid. We've done inequalities before. We did closed circles and open circles. So if you have an equal to, that would have been a closed circle. So same thing here. If you have an equal to, it's going to be a solid line. If you have, oops, pull that back up. Where'd that go? If you have, like if you look here, if you have just the greater than or just the less than sign, then you are going to use a dashed line. So it's either going to be a solid line or a dashed line, and that's kind of the name of the game with this. So what I want to do is show you how to graph these. So you are going to need to use these symbols. So we're going to type this in, and I want to show you what this looks like in Desmos. So you're going to go to Desmos, graphing calculator, and then this pops up. So we need to type in the inequality said y, and then you're going to have to go down here to the keypad, press that up, and we have y is, let's see, this one was less than or equal to, and then it was x minus 7. And this is what pops up. So a couple of things I want to show you. See how this is a solid line, and then you do have shading. This is usually my favorite section, and even the next section, because it is fun and colorful. But we're not all together, so this is what we get. So this would be your solution, and you would, today, like I said, you're just matching these up. So you would look for the line, or you look for the graph that has this exact line. If you look here, it has a y-intercept at -7. Looks like it's hitting the x-axis at about +7, and then the shading is right here, and it is a solid line. So this is what you're going to be looking for today. Do you have solid or dashed lines? What's maybe your y-intercept or x-intercept? And then where is the shading? So this is what this one looks like. The next one that I'm going to show you is, let's see, let's go back. I'm going to show you what this one would look like if it's just a y is greater than x minus 7. So let's go back here, and I want to change the inequality to just greater than. Y is greater than. And then this pops up. So a couple of things to point out here is, do you notice that the graph is now, or the line is now dashed? That's because there's no equal to. So the dashed line again is here. So you got to keep an eye on the dashed line. This is where it's shaded. It does have a y-intercept of -7. X-intercept is at about +7. So these are like key things that you're going to look for, on your graphs, because you, like I said, you're matching them today. I'll show you a couple. I'll show you maybe one more. So the next one would have been y is, pull that keypad back up, less than -3x plus 5. So then this pops up. So this is what the graph should look like. And again, you're just matching these up. So a couple of things to keep in mind here. Y-intercept at 5. X-intercept is a little junky, but this one had a slope of -3. So you would go down 3, right 1, and as you can see, that is where it would hit the graph. It is a dashed line because there's no equal to, and then this is where your shading is. So again, today you are just matching up the graphs with the equations. So you're going to need decimals again today. You're going to need to type them in and then look for the graph that pops up right here and then match it up on the Google slide, because you're going to be using Google Slides today, and I'm going to be checking those like after you're all set and you're going to submit them. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, but we will be kind of adding to this tomorrow. So please make sure you get comfortable with these.